What's up, everybody? I'm Kodak. Today we're going to talk about the Detroit Lions dub over the LA Rams here on Chain Gang Chats. So let's dive right into it. So it was 26-20. Lions pulled it out in overtime. Absolute thriller. It felt like same old Lions there at the end of the game where the Rams had complete momentum to win that game. And somehow we found a way to kick a field goal and take it into overtime. Absolutely crazy to watch. Just roller coaster of emotions. It's always got to decompress a little bit after a Lions game because it's pretty stressful, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, in the first quarter, the Rams, they just got held to a field goal. Good for the defense. But our offense really did not look good at all in that first quarter. We laid a big fat goose egg. Can't do that in this league. You got to be more consistent than that. But let's be honest, it's week one. What do you expect? Just be better. Second quarter, we actually played really good on defense. The Rams scored 0 points, and we scored 10. I believe Jahmyr Gibbs punched it in on that drive and actually looked really good. And then third quarter, it was 7-7. It was a nice stalemate. It's kind of what you see in the league. In the fourth quarter, we only kicked a field goal. At the end of the game, you really got to take advantage of the opportunities you have. And then it ended up going into overtime. Coin flip. You could see on TV, Matt Stafford was like, heads, flip, tails, and then we knew instantly it was an automatic win. Put Demo back in, line bolstered up, everybody's hype, and they just went to town. Run. Touchdown. Demo for the win. Absolutely insane. That's what you like to see, and that's what we remember from last season, just absolutely dominating the run game. But let's take a little bit closer look at the stats here. We have both teams here. We got Matt Stafford here for 34 for 49. 49, that's absolutely insane. That's like when he used to play for the Lions with Megatron, Golden Tate. He would just be slinging the ball 40, 50 times a game. You can't really win in this league efficiently being one-dimensional like that. And I think that was part of the woes of him when he was in Detroit. We really needed to get the run game going. But actually, Matt Stafford, props to him, had a phenomenal first game of the year. He was locked in. He was honed in. He was darting all over the field. I mean, just look at his receiver stats here. Puka Nacua, send condolences to him. Nobody likes to see big-time name injuries like that in the first game of the season. Hopefully everything is okay for him. But Cooper Kupp here, 14 catches for 110 yards. Now, the average isn't that high. He was getting a lot of short passes, kind of like when he was into Detroit, just doing check down, small passes, and then a couple big bombs here and there. And then we also had a touchdown recorded by him. Once Puka Nacua went out, Cooper Kupp was really the go-to man, and you could see that in the comfort, the trust to know exactly where he's going to be by Matt Stafford to throw the ball. Tyler Johnson, he had one big play. I believe it was 63 yards where he ran it. It was just kind of like a cross route in the middle of the field, under 10 yard catch, and then he just yard after catch chucked it all the way down there for a 63 yard gain. Carlton Davis really needed to tackle that man, but he just flew over onto the ground. And then we have Puka Nacua did something while he was out there. He actually had 4 catches for 35 yards. I believe he left it in the first quarter too. Once again, hopefully he's all right. Other than that, the run game was pretty abysmal. Look at Williams had 18 carries for only 50 yards, averaging 2.8 yards per carry. That's not really going to get it done in this league. Most of the time, you want to see around 4 to 5, if not more. But usually 4 to 5 average is kind of what you would like to see out of a pro to establish the run game. But on the offensive side of the ball for the Lions, Jared Goff, not his greatest game by any means. It was pretty average. I wouldn't even call it average. It was a little below average from last season of what we're expecting out of him. Really couldn't get much going in the first half at all for Goff. He was 18-28 for 217 yards. He did throw a touchdown to JMO. Awesome. Crowd went nuts. It was insane. He did throw a pick at one point. There's some kind of miscommunication with the receiver. But overall, he was still reliable, did what he needed to do. The play calling wasn't bad. You could see in the second half, it's like they pulled out the cheat codes, and then all of a sudden the offense was alive, like just making big plays. Huge game for Montgomery. He looked great. He had 17 carries for 91 yards, averaging 5.4 yards per carry. He did punch in the game winner at the end. Shout out to him. Gibbs, he honestly did both running and receiving. He had some catches. He had 4 for 34 yards for receiving, and then he also had 11 carries for 40 yards for rushing. He did punch one in there, I believe, in the second quarter. Jameson Williams did get an opportunity, 13 yards. Khalif Raymond to, I believe, start the overtime opening drive for the Lions. He got like a sweep, like a jet sweep wraparound where he ran for 12 yards. Nice to see him. Pretty much everybody got affiliated in the game. The only person we didn't see that we had on the active roster to start the season for the 53-man was Isaiah Williams. We did not see any play from him. Jared Goff, shout out to him. He actually ran the ball and got the first down. You really don't see that very often at all. If he does run, it's going to be maybe 1 or 2 yards. Barely, needless to say, he might have the worst legs on the team. But, you love to see it. Everybody was chanting, Jared Goff at Ford Field when he did do it to carry the team. And much deserved. He's earned the respect of the Detroit natives there, as he was able to make it and win a playoff game. Receiving, we got JMO. Dude absolutely took off. Part of that was they double-teamed Amon-Ra St. Brown pretty much the entire game. It really sucked for him. I'm sure he was getting very frustrated because he just wanted to compete. He wanted to be great, and he only got 3 catches for 13 yards. He did make a remarkable play where he got tripped up on like a slant route, and he crawled to bat the ball down that was going to be thrown to him, so the DB couldn't get an interception. So props to him for making the most of his opportunities. I'm sure this is an anomaly, as he will be one of the team's leading receivers this year. Sam Laporta, for tight end, I wouldn't say it was his highest yardage game, but it was honestly a very average, good game for Sam Laporta. 4 catches for 45 yards, over 11 yards on average per catch. I think his longest one was 18 yards, as it says here. JMO did have a giant catch where he absolutely cooked the defender. It was, I believe, a 52-yarder touchdown to the house. And then just David Montgomery, Brock Wright, they both got one reception. Didn't really do much there. No fumbles on the day for either team, so props for that. Way to take care of the football in the backfield and under center. And let's get into the defense here. So, absolute stud, and you could feel it. Alex Anzalone, a.k.a. Rice-A-Roni, was flying. He was a missile on target all over the field. He had 13 total tackles, 10 solo tackles, and 3 tackles for a loss. Hopefully that he can take that performance and just make it consistent. I'm sure you'd like to get into the Pro Bowl again. And then we had Carlton Davis, once again, having, honestly, a pretty decent game. He did have 2 plays that I wish could have gone his way a little bit better. One, getting gashed by Tyler Johnson for 63 yards. He literally got cooked fell onto the ground, and the guy just ran for 63 yards. Insane. But also dropping that pick at the end of the game that could have sealed the deal for the Lions without going into overtime. Still batted the ball down where there was no completion. So props to him for making a play. Just we really wish it would have been a pick just to seal the deal and end the game. Terrion Arnold, honestly, he was sticky. He looked good. And I guess as he expected, the growing pains in this league, he had a couple PIs. You don't like to see that. We gave up some penalties, especially in pass interference. I think 2 of them were on him too. But honestly, overall, he looked good. He was competitive. He played against Cooper Kupp most of the game. So you love to see that, and he's just going to keep growing and growing. And honestly, I'm happy with the pick so far. We'll see how he does next week. Brian Branch also had a fairly decent game. He had 1 tackle for a loss, but he did miss a couple tackles too, which is unlike him. You would think that he would be a little bit better than that. But once again, first game of the season. Jack Campbell, linebacker for us that we drafted last year, he did okay. You saw him pop off a little bit. He had 7 tackles, 2 solos, 1 tackle for a loss. But let's get into the D-line here. We had Aiden Hutchinson and newly acquired Marcus Davenport. Honestly, both of these guys had high motors. They pretty much had the exact same stats. I think it was like 4 big-time quarterback hits, which is huge. And then also the pressure that they were both able to generate was great. We really haven't had somebody on the D end that was doing something close to what Hutch has produced. So hopefully that evens out and gets better. The only thing here is Hutch did record a sack, and it was a big-time sack to really help the Lions seal the deal to go into overtime in the fourth quarter. Derek Barnes, not his best game. He had 4 tackles, 3 solos, but it wasn't a bad game by any means. We also had Kirby Joseph with that pick in the end zone. That was a primetime play. Props to him for that. I believe that ended the half right there when we were about to get scored on. So way to make something out of nothing. Huge opportunity there for the Rams to score going into the half, and we took that from them. Let's see here. Ennis Rakestraw, he did get some playing time, but it wasn't. He didn't do as much. I would have to go back and watch for him. I know he played. I saw his number. I saw his name out there, but he really only had 1 tackle. He didn't get any interceptions or anything like that. But it's good to see that these guys are getting playing time. As far as special teams go, I mean, what can you say? It was an A+ game for us. Jack Fox literally nuking these punts, had some great punts. Jake Bates, let's give it up for Jake Bates here, as he actually made all of his field goals and extra points. There's a little bit of concern going into the season and some of the preseason games where he missed some shorter field goals, mixed an extra point here and there. So great to see he was 100% on the day. They had Khalif Raymond back there returning punts, which is something that we've seen before. We weren't really sure how that was going to pan out during preseason, but it looks like he's going to retain that role and be valuable for the team as the third wide receiver and taking roles as punt return. But overall, had a great game. So super happy to see them get the dub in Motown. It was huge for the city. It was absolutely packed. I'm sure it was sold out and louder than all can be. Oh, it sounds like it's time for the clowns of the game. Let's get into it. So first and foremost, we have Carlton Davis. Man, come on, dude. How are you about to get cooked that bad for one of the biggest plays of the game for the opposing team? Tyler Johnson taking it 63 yards, stops on a dime, and you fly right onto the ground. Not only that, but you did drop the pick. Props to you for getting the pass breakup, but you got to seal the deal. Clown! Be better, Carlton Davis. And the ultimate clown of the game, Matt Stafford. Phenomenal game on his part, but coming back for a revenge game. You got to seal the deal, bud. Sorry about your luck. Clown, be better. And then let's go straight into it. Dogs of the game. First and foremost, we have the one, the only J-Mo. 5 catches, 121 yards, and 1 touchdown. On that touchdown play, he absolutely cooked the DB. Double move. The guy better off have tackled him for a PI instead of the free play touchdown that he got. Next on the list, we got Alex Anzalone, led the team in tackles, and you saw it out there. All over the field, he was an absolute menace, and then got to give it up for that final drive. O-line absolutely mauled the defense, and Montgomery was an absolute tank. He deserves the MVP of the game. Love to see it. Good for you, Montgomery. Can't wait to see what's in store next week. Looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They had a phenomenal game. They put up a lot of points. I think it was 37 points. So hopefully that pans out for the Lions here, and they can get something going on offense with the receivers and Jared Goff. But hey, thanks for stopping by. I'll be back on, and hopefully you guys can tune in for my next upload. I'm a little bit new to YouTube, so any kind of support is great. I'm a huge Detroit Lions fan, and I kind of want to bring a little bit of life to the scene and a little entertainment. But thanks for stopping by, and this is Chain Gang Chats, and we'll see you in the next one.